What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video on People ADC. Today we'll be doing another knife review. But before we get started with that, I'd like to thank a few of my new subscribers that I personally know. I'd like to thank Phil, Ryan, Evan, and Micah. Thanks for subscribing to my channel and checking my stuff out. I appreciate it. I'm up to 40 subscribers now. Let's try to make it 50. So today we're talking about the Drop Bear 2 from Kizer, and this is the sheep's foot version. One of the sheep's foot versions. And this knife is, overall, in my experience, it's an okay knife. I wouldn't call it, like, it's not one of my favorites, but it's a good knife. Let's go over some of the materials and everything here. The scales are a Blue Canyon Rich Light, which is it's a smoother material. I wouldn't say it's as smooth as non-textured aluminum, but it's a smoother material. And we've got Nitro V blade steel, and right there's the designer Azo and Drop Bear 2 branding on this side. This has thumb studs, oversized thumb studs, and a top liner lock. So, oh, and also, one really good thing about this is all the hardware is all T8. So no worries about switching bits around to take apart your knife and put it back together. So that's really good. So the milling on this, we'll take a look at real quick, so we can get that done, because I like to forget things when I film videos. The milling, turn this down a smidge, is only on one side of the liners, which, by the way, the liners are completely inset into the scales there. So this side, which is the lock side, doesn't have any milling. This side's pocketed out, 3 big holes in it. And we've got pretty good lockup. If you can see, right there's the lock. I'd say like 50% at least. And there are, won't need that anymore, 3 standoffs back here, so there's no backspacer. And we've got a stop pin for the open and closed positions, both. This in the middle is the button mechanism. So, flow fluid construction. We've got reversible pocket clip that sits on top of the scales, so the screws are recessed. That's a typical budget Kizer knife. I do have one that has the pocket clip inset, but other than that, all the ones I own sit on top of the scales, which is fine. It's not a big deal. I do like their pocket clips, how they flatten out at the end here. And the thumb studs, like I said, are oversized. Now they're not, I would say it's a good thing that they're big, but they're like cylinder shaped. They're not really pointy, as you can see. So they're not the most comfortable to operate, but I mean, they're not like hateful or anything. They just, I prefer like more of a coned shape. Like, I just think it's more comfortable. So, let's get the size of this. This is you could call it a medium knife, but it's on the smaller side. I personally prefer a knife, a little bit of a bigger knife. You have to excuse me, I'm a little bit, had crescent dogs for dinner, so I'm a little bit, you know. We got under 7, almost 6 7/8 in total length. The handle itself is 4, oh, nope, like 3 7/8 of the handle. This large choil allows you to choke up, so the total grip length, almost 4.5 in total grip length, so that's really good. The blade is, I think they listed as like 2.98 total length into the blade. Yeah, that's under 3, a little bit. And then the cutting length is like 2.5. 2.5 inches of cutting length. Now, you might be thinking, okay, you're telling me all these numbers. What does that translate to? Well, if you give me one moment here, I've figured out a good comparison for the blade size. It's your standard razor blade. Your standard razor blade is a little bit smaller. Not much. So pretty much about the same cutting length as your razor blade. So I think that's a good good way of explaining it. Now, I will say one really good thing about this knife is the action on their top liner lock that they have here. It's really good. It's yeah, as soon as I got this out of the box when it arrived and started messing with it, I was impressed. I really like the action on it. And the jimping, which goes all the way up to here. And it's good, effective jimping too. And there's a little bit here on the handle. So I have XL hands and I have longer fingers. And I can still get a full 4-finger grip on just the handle itself. And if I choke up, it even sticks out of the back a little bit. And what I really like about how much jimping you have is I can be on the handle and stretch my thumb out and it's still catching that jimping. So that's really nice. I really like that. As always, I use my stuff before I review it. So this is what my blade looks like. At work, I cut a lot of cardboard, some materials that are made out of like cotton and kind of like cotton paper sort of materials. Tape, you know, like shipping tape, plastic. So yeah, this is a black blade, but it's more of like a whitish gray now since I've used it. So, oh yeah, so this, I've been carrying this for over a month, maybe a month and a half. I don't remember exactly. The Richlight scales is one thing I want to point out. I dropped this on the concrete floor at work from pocket height and it cracked right there. So that's a big bummer. I guess that Richlight isn't as strong of a material as like my Carter G10 or aluminum. So that's one thing to note if you're looking at a knife with a Bridgelight handle. So let's get into some size comparisons. So I'm not going to do a ton of size comparisons like I normally do in my videos, but I am going to go over some more popular knives in size ranges. So this is the Civivi Baby Banter Wharncliffe edition and the CJRB Mini Pyrite. So these are like your 5th pocket knife kind of sizes here. Here's a couple other knives from Kizer that I own. This is the Kizer Original, the first one, and the Mini Militaw. It is pretty close to the size of the Mini Militaw. Like I said, it's not a big knife. I wouldn't even really consider it to be completely a medium-sized knife. So there's a size comparison with those two. And it is bigger than the original by a little bit, both in handle and blade length. But the Mini Militaw is pretty close. All right, so next we've got some pretty popular EDC knives here. So this is the size comparison with the Civivi Elementum and the QSP Penguin. As you can see, it is a little smaller than both of them. So if you're watching this video, you probably have at least seen these before if you don't own them. So there's a size comparison with these two really popular knives. And we have a couple more here, the Miguron Norsa, and you probably know what this is, the Kizer Drop Bear 1, the older, bigger brother to our subject knife here. So that's those two compared to this one. And I just want to point out here real quick the difference in the thumb studs between these two knives. That's how much bigger the thumb studs are on the Drop Bear 2 compared to the Drop Bear. I still like the grippiness of other thumb studs over this one, but they're definitely bigger, as you can tell right there. So I just wanted to point that out. We've also got pretty similar ergonomic lines here. Obviously, one's bigger than the other, but one has a choke up spot. So, you know, it is what it is. Is it better? I don't know. Could be. The action's better, I will say that, than on my Drop Bear. And yes, I adjusted it to as close as I want it to be, where I want it to be. So action on this is superior with that top liner lock. And to wrap up the size comparisons for this video, all these knives, as you can see, are much larger. The Ozark Trail knife, the original knife that broke the internet. The Petrified Fish PF818. The Kizer Militaw regular sized. And the Trivisa Hornet down here in the bottom. All much larger than the Drop Bear 2. So to wrap up the conclusion of this video, I think that the action is the best part about this knife. And I did want to point out also that you can reverse flick off the blade pretty easily here. So if that's something that you like to do, you can definitely do it with this. I understand they wanted to make all the versions of this model the same, but that would have been cool if they would have put a fuller down here to make reverse flicking even easier. but they didn't, and that's fine. I would say that for a work knife, I would look elsewhere. For an EDC knife, this is fine. It will do the job. It isn't very sharp out of the box, though. I will say that. It's I wasn't impressed with how sharp it was. I haven't sharpened it myself yet, but from the factory, at least mine wasn't anything to write home about. So that's going to do it for this video. Pretty sure I covered everything I wanted to say. And I'll be on to carrying the next knife. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you made it this far, if you're not already subscribed, you might as well. And we'll see you later for future content. Bye-bye.